Welcome back to another episode of the Formula Student Podcast. We are still here at Mercedes-AMG HPP and we have so much more to show you. So thank you for coming back and we can't wait to show you.
And we are back again in the ballroom of Mercedes-AMG High Performance Powertrain, where we have been joined by two very special guests. We've got Ryan and Katie. Thanks so much for coming on the podcast. We really appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day. Would you just go and introduce yourselves and what you do here at Mercedes-AMG HPP?
Yes, I'm Ryan. So I'm a Trackside Support Engineer, currently working at Williams. And
Yep, I'm Katie, so I'm the talent acquisition business partner, so I look after all of our F1 engineering and operations, so non-engineering roles such as manufacturing, build, quality, etc.
You both sound really quite full, which I imagine a Formula student will prepare people well for. You came up through a Formula student.
Indeed, yeah.
So what's your history? How did you get from being an undergrad through to your role now?
So I guess even going back further than that, back to high school, so I competed in Formula 1 in schools, which is sort of the junior competition to Formula Student. So I competed in there, then went up to university, went to University of Hertfordshire, got involved in the Formula Student project there, went through the concept class initially, and then up into the main team. Competed in Formula Student for 4 years. Managed to then obtain a role at Mercedes HPP as a result of my work through that, and here we are.
What was some highlights for you if your time during Formula Student?
I would say certainly getting a running car, finishing all three events was a highlight. We competed in 2019 at Formula Student Netherlands, Formula Student Silverstone, and then Formula Student in Italy.
Really, that's a jammed calendar.
Yeah, it was busy. We had very short turnarounds in between those as well. I think it was only about 3 days between Formula Student Silverstone finishing before going to Italy. So yeah, it was a very quick turnaround. But that sort of experience is what real life is like now. So it's been very good training for those.
You do now, so you're a trackside engineer now. You just come back from the triple header.
Very much so.
Thank you for joining.
Yeah,
obviously.
not quite yet. The triple header is quite hard as a trackside engineer. You don't have many days off in between because you've got to obviously analyse everything that you've done in the weekend prior, make sure that you're up to speed with what you could have done better, and then try and implement that for the event ahead. And so you look at previous year's data, you look at what you've done in the previous event or previous couple of events, and try and align what you know to try and optimise what you then deliver on that next weekend. So yeah, there's not a lot of breathing time.
No, I sincerely doubt it. So you've gone from working on the University of Hertfordshire's car to now being a trackside for Williams, given that they run the Mercedes power unit.
Yeah.
What's the linearity between what you were working on, essentially tune that bike engine in back of the Hertfordshire car through to this bespoke monolithic power unit in the back of the Williams?
Yeah, so there's still a lot of similarity in terms of how we go about racing. You've still got to understand the product that you're racing. In Formula Student, that's critical. And that's also the same here. It's obviously a much bigger and more complex product, and also there's a lot more integration with how the team operate as well. So what the team requirements are, as well as how we run the power unit. But yeah, there is still a lot of crossover, just in terms of how we go about designing tests for free practice 1, for example. You can see a Formula Student test event as being exactly the same thing. What is it we want to learn out of that event? There should be some engineering principles applied to all of the tests that you want to do, and so what do you actually want to learn out of those, and what can you then take forward into the next events that you have going forwards?
Because so therefore Formula Student is essentially working in motorsport Formula One liked. It just bigger cars, bigger budgets, more data. But in some ways, Formula students are ahead of the curve because next year we've got a big regulations change coming to Formula One 2026. It's the big date, and there are significant changes coming for the power units because as we're running a Formula student, am I right in thinking that next year is sustainable fuel?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's 100% sustainable fuel next year. It's not that way at the moment, but that's one of the big drives of Formula One going forward. So more sustainable and also a much bigger reliance on the electrical side of the power unit for next year as well, with a sort of 50-50 power split between the combustion engine and the MGU.
So how is that compared to what the percentage split is?
So I think the percentage is about 85% on the ICE compared to 15% on the MG UK for this year. So it's quite a big swing.
Of the skills that you've been using for that development, which of those came through from Formula Student? What integral skills when you're learning at Formula Student you apply in your day-to-day now?
I think the important thing is to remember that you can generally simplify most problems back to sort of first principles, and that's exactly what they teach you at all universities, I believe, in terms of the main foundations of engineering. So F equals MA, for example, it's surprising how much that crops up every now and again. You can always knock back to those foundations and look forward there, try and simplify the problem, understand what it is you're looking at in terms of what the maths says, and often that will help lead you into an answer as well.
That's what I like about engineering. Numbers don't lie. They may not be the numbers that you want to see, but they don't lie.
Generally not.
And Formula Student graduates are a big part of your days event as well, aren't they, Katie?
They are, yeah. We are very involved in FS as a competition every year. It's one of the key pillars of our early career recruitment strategy every year in terms of the talent attraction, as well as direct recruitment as well. So we tend to be there trying to find our next talent for the next student intake.
So how does that help with, what do you look for with looking for the best candidate?
I think in terms of skills, it touches quite well on what Ryan said, and those engineering fundamentals is really key for us in early careers, whether you're coming on a placement or a graduate scheme. And for FS, it is a brilliant opportunity to be applying those skills to, as you say, almost like Formula One light of the most applicable type of project you could get to the industry that we operate in. It's a brilliant opportunity, no matter what part you're actually involved in, to demonstrate that you're applying that knowledge and the theory that you've spent years learning and being involved in. But I think on top of technical, you learn so many transferable skills that also in just general employment are really important for us. So teamwork, communication, being kind of held to deadlines, your accountability, etc. When you get here, you are definitely tested on those skills, and so honing in on those as early on as you can and utilising a competition like this from the start to finish is probably the most successful you can then make yourself when you come to interview, by showing that you already have a baseline ability, and when you get here, hopefully you just keep building on that.
And you were talking about placements earlier as well, with us, off camera. And so how do students get around to doing that as well?
So in general, our application kind of recruitment process, people will apply online and go through normal findings on the website or LinkedIn, or just generally following the brand or the team within the sport. From an FS side, we use it to, build a first level of engagement for when our next student intake are about to go live. So it's a very well-timed competition in relation to our early career timeline that every August, our following student intake vacancies will open up for applications. So we'll be there to drum up that engagement and excitement and just build awareness as to who we are as a business, what work we do, how you can be involved, what type of schemes we have as well. So those that are involved in the project and in the competition from maybe a non-engineering view, and be more in the business side or the costing, there is still, we have non-engineering functions at HPP. So there is something here for everyone. And I think building that awareness and knowledge at the competition itself is really important. It shows everybody that there's a path for them. So as a general awareness and recruitment topic, that's where it really benefits. But we also do direct recruitment. So we'll also have a number of our engineers be involved in the judging and supporting a couple of the categories in the judging. Ryan does that a couple of years now. So he you might not be competing anymore, but can't help but keep going back. And so, yeah, in the judging, there'll be talent spotting and being around the paddock, and it might just be a conversation that you think is being had with somebody that works at HPP, but we are trying to identify those really talented individuals that are out there in their engines working hard, and hopefully identify them to bring them into our tent and get an application in.
What I love about what you do here, the Mercedes-AMG HPP, is that you are limited to working for the works team. You could be working for McLaren, you could be working with Williams, as in your case, Ryan, or at the moment, you could be working with Aston Martin until the next season. And I imagine that gives you a breadth of opportunities of engaging in with different people and different working styles and structures, very from team to team. Also, a massive opportunity for traveling, because you've been belting around the world for the past few weeks. How is that in practicality? Because it is an incredibly romantic, in your fashion sense in the world, opportunity to have and to engage with, but the practicalities of that might be different. What's the lived experience for you?
Yeah, so I think I've been very fortunate here to be able to have done a couple of different types of travelling here. So I was actually part of the Formula E experience here. So I was helping with Venturi at that point when we did Formula E, and so I had a shorter calendar with Formula E, and now I've gone to a much bigger one with Formula One. I think the experience of the Formula One is that the events do come thick and fast, and you don't have a lot of chance to breathe in between. I think you do have that romantic period of time, especially on the grid on the Sunday when everything is almost as complete as it can be. You're literally just waiting to get the race started. That is a lovely moment, but there's a lot of hard work that leads up to that. But it is highly rewarding when you get through to the end of the weekend and the adrenaline starts to wear off a little bit, and you can sort of look back and go, yeah, that was actually quite a good weekend. And that can change from whether the team has done well or whether actually it's just been a personally good experience and I've delivered very well on that weekend. There's lots of good things to be taken away from that.
I think it's worth mentioning as well that although it may seem on the face of it to be a recreational activity from spectators, and it's the case of Hooper, it's got the fastest car, who's the best driver, but the engineering does translate into a real world impact on people's cars and people in day-to-day living. Like, this technology that's being developed, although it's at the cutting edge with its deployment in Formula One, as it matures and ends up in commercial technology available to everybody, it does generally have an impact. So is there any signs that you've already seen in your time working in development of high performance powertrains that you've seen that technology already begin to translate into the real world?
Yeah, certainly here at HPP we have our advanced technologies department over the road, and they are primarily there to look at sort of research development projects directly for Mercedes themselves. And so whether that can be taking software, for example, from our Formula E project and then trying to deploy that into a road application, or taking a road car and trying to get it to go around a track as fast as possible, or different hardware projects as well. There's lots of different projects over there that also help translate what we do on the Formula One or the Formula E side and translate that into road cars, which is exactly the function of Formula One.
Yeah, just to add to that, the advanced technology side is also where we get a lot of our students and those early career roles. So when they join the business, there are some that will be primarily sat within one project function or the other. The majority will be rotational. So when you join here on a placement or a graduate scheme, you'll do maybe 6 to 8 months in one department or one project if you start in F1 or advanced technology. And after that period of time, we can kind of shuffle you around the business to build that exposure, kind of understand how the engineering is maybe done a little bit differently, or how is it applied to a different project and its demands, and what does that look like on the output, etc. So that type of difference in projects and work that we do here also trickles down to the students when they join, and the opportunities they have to be involved and have the same, I guess, kind of support in their development and progression.
You've both clearly got a deep involvement in Formula Student through various aspects, so you'll both be around at the event in one capacity or another. If someone's dreaming of working at Mercedes-AMG HPP, when they see you around, obviously, maybe don't go my job, but
please.
When they're engaging with you, what sort of people are you looking for? How is a person going to best present themselves to you with the hopes of scoring even an interview or maybe even a job?
I think For HPP, that passion and drive is one of our core values. It runs through our business as general, and so it runs through what we look for in our recruitment and our attraction strategy as well. So those that are really passionate about what they are working on and their hobbies and extracurriculars, and that could be a facet of engineering, it could be something non-engineering based, but that's really what they're into, and you learn differences in people that way. So harnessing that passion and coming to us and knowing that is something that sits well with us, even if they think it's completely irrelevant. It's a very big positive to see that the individuals will have something that they're so keen to be involved in, that maybe they do spend all of their disposable money on to drive further, or they spend all of their spare time in, or on top of their uni degree and a part-time job they're making sure they can be involved in. Those characteristics sit really well with us when we're looking at the future of our workforce and our talent that's coming in.
It's really well. Any advice to teams coming in to just form a student, get based on your lived experience being with UHR before, and also advice to graduates as well?
Yeah, so I think it's important, I think, to remember that as a job, you're not expected to know everything across a very, very wide and broad range of areas. In fact, I think we would probably be more interested in knowing that someone's just gone and either designed something properly, no matter how big or small it is. It can be a throttle pedal, for example, just going from the concept through to the engineering understanding behind what you're designing it, testing it, and then feedbacking it. I think that is the crux of our job at Mercedes, and I think being able to reflect that to us is really, really important. And I think that will help all teams improve in lots of different areas as well. It can be very easy, and we've been there many times in the past of seeing teams just putting a car together as best they can because of the time constraints and pressures, etc. And that is hard, and I'm very aware of that. Yeah, but I think being able to just demonstrate that things have been done properly in good areas and develop that portfolio personally and for the team of what you've done in your job within Formula One or Formula Student.
Well, thank you so much, Ryan and Katie, for joining us today. And you've given a lot of insightful information. I hope it helps a lot of the students. Thanks, Evan.
Thank you.
You've been watching this edition of the Formula Student online podcast here at Mercedes-AMG High Performance Powertrain. I've been Giles, she's been Cheryl. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and make sure you buy your tickets to spectate at Formula Student UK 2025 live from Silverstone.